down to 5.
Okay.
I hear good, Susan?
Yep. Your hair is good, Laura, yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our public meeting of council on May 5th. A nice evening out there compared to the day that we had, which was drizzly. The sun is trying to shine there now, even though it's evening, but things will get better. We have a couple of people joining us online. Councillor Aylward is online this evening, and the mayor is with us via telephone. So we've got all kinds of communication strategies working here this evening. Welcome to anyone who may have logged on to visit with us this evening. And with that, we'll call the meeting to order. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Tiller. All in favor?
Aye.
Don't know if I got to do the all in favor for that. Now, I will apologize up front because as soon as I try to say councillor whatever, I'm going to forget whose name is whose. So you could answer to whatever I call you. That would be great. Thank you.
No problem.
Approval of minutes. So the minutes of the public meeting for April 21st were circulated. We'll move for the approval of those minutes. Moved by Councillor Tiller.
I second.
Seconded by Councillor, what's her name down there? Suntan there? No, Councillor Boland. Everything okay with those minutes? We got to check that next, I guess. Yeah, so all in favor? Aye. So matters arising from the minutes. Were there any matters arising from the minutes that anybody had concerns about? No matters arising? What's that, Laura? I'm sorry?
I said not that I could say.
Okay. All right. There being no matters arising, we'll move to proclamations and delegations, and we do have a proclamation this evening, and that is that May 5th is the National Day of Awareness of Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, and we've signed that proclamation. We just signed that proclamation with a member of Newfoundland Aboriginal Women's Network. Excuse me. Just want to highlight and point out that still daily women, but particularly Indigenous women, go missing and are murdered, and their families are left with trying to find out what happened and why, and so we continue to try to remember those women who are missing, who were murdered, and also to raise awareness and continue to try to create a world that's safe and equal for everybody, so that we don't find ourselves looking for missing Indigenous women and girls. Okay, so we're going to move on to committee reports now, and we will start with the Chair of Finance. Councillor White, if you will deliver the Finance Committee report.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Item number 5.1, Finance Committee. Item 1, expense check listing for April 2022. It was the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the expense check listing for April 2022 in the amount of $464,465.78 be approved. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconder.
Second.
Second by Councillor Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 2, 12 Days of Christmas Winter, D&E Limited, 124 Queen Street. It was the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the town of Stephenville approve $500 tax credit to D&E Limited for the winner of the 12 days of the Christmas event. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconder.
Second.
Second by Councillor Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 3, a request for sponsorship from the Harmon Seaside Links. It was the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the town approve sponsorship for Harmon Seaside Links in the amount of $500. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Meyer White, seconder. Second by Councillor Tiller. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Item number 4, a request for grant, Stephenville Airport Corporation. It was the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the town of Stephenville give a grant to the Stephenville Airport Corporation in the amount of $30,963 for operations, plus $19,037 for Wasco contract fees, for a total of $50,000. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconder. Second by Councillor Yulin. Question?
Yeah, the scrivener on the amount for the second wasn't correct from Councillor White. Could
Right.
you restate 19,000
And $37. Yeah, I think you said 3,700 now, think back.
Oh, well, shall I reread it? I shall.
Does she need to reread the whole
Yes.
motion, Jennifer? Okay, we'll reread that motion then.
Item number 4, request for grant for the Stephenville Airport Corporation. It was the recommendation of the Finance Committee that the town of Stephenville give a grant to the Stephenville Airport Corporation in the amount of $30,963 for operations, plus $19,037 for Wasco contract fees, for a total of $50,000. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White and seconded by Councillor Yulin.
I'll second.
And call for question. Any discussion?
Just want to say, I said it on Tuesday as well, that I'm voting yes this time in support. This will be my last time voting yes in favor of a grant, just because questions I get every day, the same as everyone else gets, as we're 120 days past 120 days. People want this deal to happen, it'd be a good thing to happen, they just don't want to keep paying and waiting for it to happen. So this will be the last time I vote yes, just because it's time for someone other than the taxpayers need to start seeing the reward for all their hard work. And I think it's time that they start seeing the reward for their hard work and their sacrifices they've made. So this will be my last month voting yes, if we have to do this anymore.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Well, Councillor, Deputy Mayor Fowlo, I'm optimistic, and I, for one, would certainly support the airport on this, because we need our airport. And I don't care what anybody says. You can be negative, positive. I would like to see more positive. Because from the get-go, no matter what, there was negative people out there, and these people, I guess, they're negative about everything in life. So, but I'm positive about this what would you say, takeover of the airport. We've never had anybody before interested in taking over the airport. We've had no support for this airport for years and years, not even from the communities. So, as far as I'm concerned, we have a budget of over $8 million. And if we can't support our airport, what are we doing? So I really think that this airport deal is going to go through. It takes, you can't do it overnight. You can't do it in 6 months. Sometimes it takes a year. So, and we've had some positive report from the manager. We've had some big flights in here. And Sunwing is starting up, so that'll be busy time. So I'm looking forward to that. So I think we should all be positive and look positive for the future.
Okay.
And I'd also like to speak on behalf of that. I don't know if I'm in conflict here with the airport now that I'm going to be starting there next week, working for Allied Aviation, supporting Sunwing Airlines coming in here. So that is a question that I have regarding the airport right now. Is it a conflict of interest for me to even vote and with anything to do with the airport right now, where I'm going to actually be working there? starting next week.
Okay.
Well, you're not an employee of the airport. You're an employee of the airlines, right?
I'm an employee of Allied Aviation out of
Yeah.
Gander.
Yeah.
Which the office is still in the airport, so they're financially tied. But you guys come on.
So,
But
okay,
I didn't hear
so
what Jennifer said, Susan.
Jennifer said that she's employed by Allied
Yeah.
Aviation, but
Yeah.
their office is in the airport, so there's a financial tie through that office to the airport.
Yeah, but she's not getting paid by our airport.
No,
Why would
there's
that be a
no,
conflict?
well, I guess that's the question that we need to ensure that we're comfortable with, right? To me, there's two issues. One is right now you're not employed by the airport, right? And you're not working out of the airport at this point. However, next week you will be at the airport and employed by somebody who makes money from the airport, right? So from that side of things, it would seem to me that you're close enough to a conflict that your safest bet may be to declare yourself in conflict, but
No, I think
we-
Deputy Mayor,
we
I
should-
think we should get an opinion on this because I don't think it's a conflict. If she's there for another employee and that's her job, she's not getting paid by the airport board.
right,
I really can't see a conflict. So I think we need to find out for sure. But where
Yeah.
she's not there tonight working, she can vote on the motion. That's not a problem, I wouldn't think.
that's, I would tend to agree with you, Laura. I would tend to think that at this point, there's
Yeah.
no financial gain for Tracy one way or the other, if the airport gets this money from us or not, but I wouldn't want to see us in our uncertainty.
So I'll just
Yes,
make a
I
motion.
understand. I know what you're
Okay,
saying, but
So let's
You know-
just, if Jennifer can make a comment as clerk.
So think about, she's financially tied. If the airport too close, she's out of a job, correct?
Right.
So that airport staying open, you're actually voting on the financial situation for that airport to stay open, which is financially tied to. So just even think about aspects of, even private levy sitting on a committee like the Legion, and the Legion is receiving money.
Yeah,
People do even declare conflict of interest because they're president. Probably. That's
Right.
great.
yeah,
Yeah, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, yep.
Probably the best thing to do is for council, sometimes when it's on the fence, is she in conflict, is she not? She's not actually working for them yet, so it's confuddled in a sense. That the easiest way to do is ask for a vote of council to determine, is she in conflict?
yeah,
And look at the majority of the 6 members there. And then if they're fine that she's not in conflict, she stays at the table. If the vote is that she is in conflict, she has to step out of the room for the moment.
that's what I would suggest that we do, because I don't think this is black and white. And, I think when it's not completely black and white, it might be easiest to err on the side of caution. But so do we have to do that in the way of a formal vote, or can we just kind of get a formal vote? So can we
But,
pause this motion then?
I will say this
Yep.
as well. Even though I'm going to be working for Allied Aviation, I'm still a strong supporter of our Stephenville Airport. And I will be promoting Stephenville Airport. So
Right.
technically, I'm not getting paid from Stephenville Airport, but I am a strong supporter of the Stephenville Airport, especially where Sunwing Airlines is now committed to come in here this summer for Come Home Year.
Yeah,
And there are hundreds of people that are going to be flying into Stephenville this summer and confirmed and booked. So it would be quite devastating if we didn't continue to support Stephenville Airport this summer, just for that reason alone.
right.
It is Come Home Year. There are people that are booked. Flights are now completely selling out of Deer Lake. So if we close down Stephenville Airport at this point, there's going to be a lot of very upset people.
Yeah,
coming
but
home
we-
from Come Home Year.
Yeah,
So if you want me to clarify,
Okay.
so in the
please.
Municipalities Act, under 207, conflict of interest. B, the counselor has a monetary interest directly or indirectly in the matter.
Okay,
So that makes me a conflict of interest.
I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think.
So counselor-
I'm not so sure about that.
I do want to say.
I would prefer to look at it after this meeting, but you know, later in the week. But is
Well,
she
we
can
can
vote
certainly-
tonight though. But she's not working there.
well,
as-
Laura, I'm going to suggest that the position that we're in, either, if we're going to continue with the vote, we either if Tracy would like to declare herself in conflict, that's okay. And if she doesn't, I think we need to vote on it for this particular motion. And we could clarify it after the fact, but if we don't and we get it wrong, then we're gonna block this motion, right?
Yeah, no,
And
I didn't mean that way. What I meant was after the vote tonight, you know, I'll be
Yes.
checking further, but
We'll look for clarification.
go ahead with the vote for tonight. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, Tracy, do you want to are you declaring yourself in conflict?
I think it's safer that I declare.
Okay,
myself.
let's do it that way, and then we will,
Your other option is if there's, so here's another issue that just transpired. You already spoke on the matter?
Right.
So-
Well, that's my passion. So,
I know,
No,
but
that's okay, but I'm in regards to conflict of interest.
right. And I just made myself even
Yeah.
more conflict of interest.
Yeah.
That's why I'm declaring.
yes, okay.
Interest.
I was thinking halfway through, should I stop this and put it in a different place?
Yeah.
Because that's where you're going. Okay, so yeah, you're going to declare conflict of interest. We're going to ask you to step out of the room for a minute.
Yep.
And we'll see if there's any other discussion after that. And then we'll call for the vote and let you know when to come back. Okay,
I'll be back in a second, Susan.
okay. You're not in conflict, are you? You can stay in the room you're in.
So long as you got your quorum of 5, you guys can vote, right?
Yeah.
Tom,
Tom and Laura and that, so we're okay to vote. Is any other discussion on the vote before we
Yeah,
call
so
for the vote?
I see Lenny, Councillor Tiller's point on we are getting a lot of correspondence regarding the airport. It is disappointing that we have missed the timeframes that were targeted, but it's not unusual in the business world to miss targeted deadlines. Historically, we've supported the airport when there hasn't been a light at the end of the tunnel. As was spoken earlier, come home year, there are a lot of people availing of an air service that has taken a chance on Stephen Miller Airport. And if we do terminate the funding now, unfortunately, we would ruin quite a few vacations this summer on top of putting people out of work. And to add insult to injury, we have a deal on the table that seems to be receiving optimism from both the purchaser and the sale.
Yeah.
So I sympathize with, I get the emails and the text messages and phone calls, and I do want to see a light at the end of the tunnel as well. I just think if we do let the airport slip through our fingers at this point in time with so much on the horizon, again, historically, we, in my opinion, should just continue to kind of see this through till the end, given we made the commitment from the beginning. So that's my opinion on the matter. I do see your point on we are getting the correspondence. And on top of that, as the council, we really aren't involved with the mechanics of this deal. It is a deal between a private corporation and the Stephen Miller Airport Corporation.
Right.
So I just ask for people to be patient with the process. Again, it isn't the first time that an entity has missed a deadline, especially with a deal of this magnitude. But not only as a councillor, I'm also a resident, I'm also a taxpayer. So personally, when I decide to give money to the airport, I put myself in a situation of, is this something I can back, or is it something that unfortunately, at some point in time, we may have to step back and say, okay, well, if this doesn't transpire, then there'll have to be some evaluations made at that point in time.
Yep.
But given the current information we have, this is certainly the reason why I still support the airport, given our economic climate and the fact that the airport does support quite a few people at this current time.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
No, I've listened to all the comments and, you know, I've taken them all in and I understand where Lenny's coming from because I, at one point probably thought the same thing. However, I feel the same way. I feel like we have to give this a chance. We have to let it go to the end. I don't think ruining our come home year, families being reunited after 2 years.
Yeah.
I think the people here would be so very, very disappointed with us not to have done it. Because if we don't give them the money and that airport closes, that airline doesn't come in. And you know yourself, there's not a lot of airlines moving. And I'm so afraid that there's going to be a lot of, I don't know, flack, even though we're not part of it. We don't make the decisions for the airport or for the buyer. So I feel I don't have any choice. I feel like I have to do it. I have to do it for the taxpayers and I have to do it for the families that want to come home.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been really hard on families, and this is actually the first time since the pandemic has started where we've had an opportunity to bring people back together. So that was a big factor in me deciding to continue. Because again, at one point in time, I do agree, you know, we kind of had to ask ourselves the question, there's no deal on the table, there's no flights coming in, why are we keeping this going?
Yeah.
But our circumstances have kind of changed a bit. So given our circumstances, you know, I'd still be in support for sure.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to call then for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary-minded?
Then we need to get Laura in.
Oh, Laura, are you back?
Yes, there.
Yeah, I'm here, but, so we've got, I don't think that Tracy's in conflict. So I will vote against it. I don't think she's in conflict.
Oh, no, we're not voting on Tracy.
What
We're
are we voting
on.
on?
We're
Oh,
voting
on the airport. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yes,
So-
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you're in favor
Yeah.
and Mayor Rose? Aye, okay. So it's carried unanimously and we will ask Tracy to come back in. That was almost frightening, Laura. You would be recorded.
Yeah. Sorry. That's like you forgetting names, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
It's all right. I forgot to turn off my alarm this morning. My security, I only had it one day.
Okay,
I'd like to move on.
all right, on to
Yeah.
the next.
Item number 5 is a request for grant for the Royal Canadian Legion. Let it be resolved that the town of Stephenville approve a grant in the amount of $100,000 to the Royal Canadian Legion to administer the Western Health Recruitment and Retention Program benefits. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconder. Second by
Second.
Councillor Tiller. I
Okay.
beat you to it, Laura.
That's okay.
Just to comment, anyone question or comment?
Laura, did you?
Laura, did you start to
No,
comment?
no. That's just me mumbling.
Okay, and just for clarification, this is part of, really, this is an ongoing part of a process that we have, as a town, entered into with Western Health as part of our recruitment retention benefits program, and the Legion has come on as the administrator of that particular fund. And so this is just an advance of the next amount of money towards that package that's already been approved, right, in our budget and so on. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Carried.
Item number 6, town manager retirement gift. It was the recommendation of the committee that the town of Stephenville contribute $1,000 to purchase iGo bike. I so move.
Moved by Councillor White, seconded. Seconder. Second by Councillor Hewlin. Councillor Tristan, I was going to say by Councillor Hewlin.
Excuse me, is that, what number is that, Myra?
Number 6.
I don't have that on my agenda.
Yeah, this was,
There was an add-on.
this was the
So there was another email sent after that one that you have.
revised.
it? Oh, okay.
Okay, so did you hear the motion though?
Yes, I
Councillor
did.
Hewlin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it was moved and seconded, so I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Anything late for finance?
No, nothing.
No, everything good there? Okay.
Councillor Hewlin, would you like to read the planning?
Not a
Committee?
problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, good. So the next item on the agenda is planning and traffic, and we'll pass that over then to Councillor Hewlin.
Yes, so we have a lengthy one this time. So
I love it when the ties get turned.
yeah,
What did he say?
yeah, it's probably been a first for a while, actually. So,
And there's going to be many more.
yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
So 5.2, planning and traffic. So our first item is 44 Queen Street, FPO Enterprises. Request for a permit to renovate space in the building located at 44 Queen Street to accommodate a TELUS/Kudo business. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that this request be approved, subject to compliance with all town regulations and approval of Service NL. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Hewlin, second by Councillor Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Nice to see.
Motion carried.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
is actually. Our second item, 44 Queen Street, Priority Permits Limited. Request for a permit to install signage for new TELUS/Kudo business located at 44 Queen Street. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that this request be approved, subject to compliance with all town regulations. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Hewlin, seconder. Second by Councillor White. All in favor? Motion carried.
Our third article, Little Gull Pond Subdivision Development, Alphonse Bennett. Request for outline planning permission to proceed with subdivision development on land located at Little Gull Pond. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that the request for outlining planning permission be approved for the proposed subdivision development. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Hewlin, seconder.
second.
Second by Councillor Aylward. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried.
4, 141 to 147 Main Street, Halaku First Nation. Request for a permit to open a temporary office to renew Secure Certificate of Indian Status, SCIS, cards from the space in the building located at 141 to 147 Main Street. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that this request be approved, subject to compliance with all town regulations. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Hewlin, seconder. Second by Councillor Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd like to say, Susan, that I'm glad to see this office opening temporarily because there is a lot of members out there that need help with these cards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I thank the committee or whoever decided to put that forth.
Yes, certainly.
Our next item.
All in
140
favor, we got to vote. Did we vote? Yes.
Yeah, we did. Are you a
Okay.
yes?
Yeah, oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, carried.
I'm gonna have to get a videotape and send it to you after.
Yeah.
And I'm
Our
not
next-
drinking. I don't drink.
Oh, you said.
Oh, I say, yeah. Okay, sorry, Councillor Yulin, you go ahead.
Not a problem, my dear, not a problem. Our next article, 141 to 147 Main Street, J and K Subway. Request for a permit to replace existing signage on the building located at 141 to 147 Main Street. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that this request be approved, subject to compliance with all town regulations. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Yulin, second by Councillor Tiller. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Our next article, Urban and Rural Planning Act Resolution to approve Town of Stephenville Municipal Plan Amendment Number 8, 2020. And Urban and Rural Planning Act Resolution to approve Town of Stephenville Development Regulation Amendment Number 14, 2020. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that the Town of Stephenville, under the authority of Section 16, Section 17, and Section 18 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, approve Municipal Plan Amendment Number 8, 2020, and Stephenville Development Regulation Amendment Number 14, 2020, to give council discretionary authority to permit keeping of hens and quails on residential properties that apply to the rural residential zones as outlined and in accordance with Stephenville urban and quail regulations. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Yulin, seconded. Second by Councillor White. Question?
Can I ask a question pertaining to this, but containing to the regulation?
Yep.
I was reading it today. I wanted to make a motion to add something to the regulation, but can I do that here, or do I have to go through committee?
I'm gonna think we'll have to go through committee, right?
Yeah, so the regulations is, they're already adopted.
Okay,
And you're approving right now, so depending on what it is, I would recommend, depending on what it is, then you
Yeah.
have to go back to the plan.
Yep. Yeah, it might have, yeah, the actual planner, right? But certainly back to the planning committee, I would think for sure. And then that decision can be made then on where it needs to go, if anywhere.
okay, that's what I'll do.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Okay, any other questions or comments on any of this? Okay, we'll call for the vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contraminded? Okay, motion carried.
Okay. Next article, Maryland Drive Extension Residential Development, CNB Holding. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that the Town of Stephenville approve the proposed subdivision development design as submitted and approved to proceed with subdivision agreement negotiations for Maryland Drive Extension. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Yulin, seconder. Second by Councillor Boland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a question.
Oh, question?
Just want to clearly say that when we approve a motion for a subdivision development design, it clearly states that the developer can't proceed with any development until the actually subdivision agreement is inked, negotiated, and signed by council.
Right.
Just for clarity.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And so, yes, so for clarity, this is a motion to allow that next step to proceed, right? So the next step would be to proceed with the subdivision agreement negotiations, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Now, the next item is for,
Tristan.
would the mayor be in conflict in this next item, I think, right?
Just do a quick
Yes.
review. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Mayor Rose, I guess that means either I gotta put you on mute or hang up on you.
Put you in the hallway.
I'll mute you and put my phone in the hall? No. Can I just mute them? Would that be safe? Okay, there we go.
Ask them to lock.
Okay, so it's muted. Are you, Tom, is it muted yet? Just checking. Okay, so I have the mayor muted and we will proceed now, Councillor Yulin.
All right, our final article, proposed amendment to municipal plan and development regulations. It was the recommendation of the Planning and Traffic Committee that the town of Stephenville proceed to draft an amendment to allow residential development without municipal water and sewer services in country living residential, comprehensive development area residential, and comprehensive development area community services zones. I so move.
Moved by Councillor Yulin, seconder.
I'll second that.
Second by Councillor Boland. I think Laura, you were just after. Question? Any questions?
Voting to draft an amendment or to adopt it to make it happen? This is the first time I read it. It wasn't on my thing.
I think it's, we're voting to draft the amendment.
Yeah,
To
this
update
this is the draft.
the amendment.
Yeah, this is just a draft.
Yeah, and then it got to get approved, right?
Yeah,
No, there's nothing, yeah, so what you're doing now is propose that we're going to move forward and
Right.
involve the planner.
yeah.
Right.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay, so if everyone's clear on that, we'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Contraminded? Okay, motion carried. And I will unmute the mayor. My God, it's fun saying that. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what power I have to unmute the mayor?
I tell you.
We should do that more often.
Yeah. Okay, and are there any late items or anything? No?
Nothing to my knowledge, no.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that was a fairly hefty agenda for the planning committee, which is always a good thing. It's always a sign that the snow is gone and people are starting to come out of the caves again and see what development we can get into. So that's exciting, always bodes well. Okay, under bylaws and regulations, I don't think there's anything. Unfinished business.
Well, I had a couple of residents that I just want to let, moving forward, we need to talk about the crosswalks.
Okay, so that's new business then.
Okay.
I think, yeah, we'll cover that under new business because, yeah, so unfinished business really is anything that we might have talked about
Right.
in the last meeting that we needed to carry over, that kind of thing, which I don't think there was anything under unfinished.
Okay.
Okay, so under new business then, Councillor Boland, you do have a couple of things then?
Yeah, so I did have a concern about the crosswalks.
Okay.
So I guess moving forward, we are going to be talking about the crosswalk situation in town. So it is something we're working on.
Yes.
Okay.
And also I'd like to bring up the fact, we have a parent petition about a neighborhood just speeding.
Okay,
So speed signs in other, like pretty much in town, trying to get people to slow down. So that's something we are talking about in the future and planning,
okay.
and we're working on it.
Okay, so if any of the residents in the community who've posed questions or concerns about either of those are watching or listening tonight and wondering if anything is happening, rest assured that we've heard you and that we are looking into those things. And it will take a little bit of time, but we will try to keep you updated as best we can. Okay. Any new business from anyone else?
I'd also like to personally thank Sunwing for supporting Stephenville Airport. They've been supporting YJT for years. They are huge supporters of Stephenville, always
Okay.
have been.
Yep.
COVID unfortunately shut them down for a couple of years, but they are actually coming back, which is a really good thing because they really love flying into Stephenville.
Wonderful.
So I
Well,
just
we really
really
love
wanna
it when
thank
they
Tom.
fly into Stephenville too, so.
Yes, yes,
That's a
because I have
wonderful-
grandchildren coming home who I haven't seen in 3 years. And I'm sure
Yes.
there's a lots of other people too.
That's right.
Yes, so that's, anytime there's an airline willing to come into Stephenville, you can be guaranteed there's going to be a lot of thankful people and people who will be as committed as they can be to using the service. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Um,
Okay, Councillor Elwer, did you have anything
Yeah.
under
yeah, a
business?
couple of things, yeah.
Okay,
Number one, I think, Deputy Mayor Fowler, that we didn't think about giving our sympathies to Jennifer Brake on the death of her grandmother, Eliza Matthews. So on behalf of council, I would like to do that, and I'm sure you will, all of your council will do as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I'd like to say a little bit about Jennifer's grandmother, Liza Matthews. Liza was a person that always volunteered, always helped out people in the community. She lived in Black Duck. She was the mayor of Black Duck, we all called her, because anything that went wrong, it could be water, it could be flood, could be whatever that went on in that community. Liza was up front there and took on the role of being the leader in that community. And she volunteered with many other organizations as well over the years. And I think it's, I'm glad to say that I knew her, and it was a privilege to know her. So Jennifer, you know, your grandmother certainly will be missed by a lot of people, and you as well, but we'll just remember her as we knew her, and I'm sure she's in a good place. That's
great.
one thing. The other
Yes.
thing is we have a new doctor coming on from Central, his wife and two little kids, Dr. John Maxwell, and he's going to be working as a family practice doctor up at Dr. McCumsky's clinic. So that's a good thing. I'm sure the mayor might want to elaborate on that, but he got the message from Roxanne at Dr. McCumsky's clinic that Dr. Maxwell will be moving here. So that's another positive thing happening.
Yep. And yeah, and certainly, you know, not to pat ourselves on the back, but certainly to pat ourselves on the back that the work that we've been doing around recruitment and retention is starting to take hold. The word is getting out, and we're starting to see some return on investment, which I think is a wonderful thing. And hopefully the residents of Stephenville will see it as such, and we'll find ourselves in a situation where a few more people have access to a doctor, which is where we hope to get everybody at some point. Yeah.
Great news.
Yeah. Any other new business?
I have one, Chairman, Madam Chair,
Chairman.
Tom Rose here. Actually, first of all, I just want to say there are a lot of positive stories coming out of Stephenville. And our traction that we're receiving on our recruitment and retention, and you've heard it across this province, across this country, there's a healthcare crisis. But because of the leadership of this council, we are correcting the wrong. And the wrong is when somebody can't see a family doctor. So our leadership is bringing in the doctors that are needed. And we're going to continue to work on that file because it's so important to our residents, our children, our grandparents, our elderly, people who need family doctors. It is a right in the Health Act of Canada that every Canadian is entitled to have a family doctor. So I just want to congratulate council on your leadership, each and every one of you. The other thing I wanted to mention, Deputy Mayor Susan Fowler, is that in the past week or so, we heard the news from the president of the College of North Atlantic, Elizabeth Kidd, about a new film program that's being launched in St. John's. And while I support that, I want to clearly state as the mayor of Stephenville that we have a very robust, active, professional film program here in the Stephenville campus, which is the headquarters campus of the College of North Atlantic. And we need to ensure that the profile and the continuation of that program stays here. because we're not going to stand for anybody trying to take anything out of Steamboat. We're at the cusp of major development in this town, and we are going to stand up to anybody who wants to try to start taking anything from us. When you think about this year, we have the BBC's Race of Canada that will be profiling Stephenville on that BBC broadcast that will come across Canada. We also have public broadcasting, PBS out of Boston, that will be here in September with film crews. So Stephenville having the CNA digital film program in Stephenville is very important. It's very active. It's doing very well. It's very professional, and we need to continue with it. I just want to state that.
Hear, hear. Okay. Thank you, Mayor Rose. And anything else under new business that anybody would like to bring up?
I don't want, did you have one? No, okay.
Okay,
Yesterday was International Firefighter Day.
right.
You know, we have, I'm not sure if you're still firefighting now or not, but our Councillor Tristan Hewlin is an active firefighter, still is. I know Colin has put some time in himself. And just on the way up here tonight, I actually saw 2 fire trucks off to somewhere with horns blazing. So I hope everybody is safe. But May the 4th is International Firefighters Day. Firefighters put their life on the line each and every day to answer the call in our worst moments. I want to send a heartfelt thank you to our brave people at the Stephenville Fire Department and all departments across the province who work tirelessly to keep our community safe. The work they do is a risk to their life, and it does not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And certainly echo that, I think, as a council, and thank you for reminding us of that, Councillor Tiller. Anything else?
Well, I'll say one thing. I want to elaborate, but I will say I am not pleased with what I see, some of the things that our government is doing lately with healthcare and other things, like moving infrastructure from Stephenville to another community. So I'm not pleased with this government, and I'm trying to get an email or something on the way to them, but I'm afraid I'm going to say too much. So I'm going to leave it there for now.
Well, I guess we have made some requests in terms of meetings with a number of government officials. So we'll continue to follow up on that and to continue to insist that we are given at least respect enough to have the air of some of our government members to at least discuss things that we didn't have an opportunity to discuss. And I think most critical in terms of message to the government, there is a department, there's a reason that municipalities are given certain amount of autonomy and certain amount of support from our government to operate and run and strengthen municipalities within the purview of that particular government. And I think it's incumbent upon government to trust municipalities enough to recognize that they know what exists in their communities and to at least speak with municipalities and in consultation with municipalities when decisions are going to be made that impact those municipalities. And so I think we need to continue to remind our government officials that we are a very significant piece of the provincial puzzle, that without municipal support and municipal work, our whole province would flounder in a way that they could only imagine. And so I think with respect to municipalities, it's only fair and good that they respond in kind with the meeting and the discussion around what's happening to Stephenville and you know, potential moves of different buildings and the impact that it has on the people served by the employees of those buildings. So we'll continue to follow up on that, Laura, and continue to remind people that we are here. We're not going anywhere, and we're also not sitting quietly And that's what we were elected to do, and that's what we intend to continue to do. And so, having said that, one last point I'd like to make under new business is around the whole piece of communication. I know that communication is probably the most critical piece of work within any organization. It's also probably a piece of work where sometimes we as a town and as a council maybe fall short. And when we do, we certainly hear it from our residents that they're, frustrated because they don't know when things are happening, or they're frustrated because things aren't updated and so on. And again, I want to say to residents that we hear you. We recognize that sometimes we are a little behind in terms of updates on websites or those kinds of things. But we see that, we recognize that, and we're certainly working towards a communication plan that continues to be as strong as it possibly can be. And we'll continue to work as a council with our staff to communicate as clearly and as effectively as we can. And for residents, your part is going to be that you have to continue to look for the answers that you seek as well. Check the website, check the Facebook page, do those things, and find our meetings that are live, and tune in and read the minutes and educate yourselves, and then hold our feet to the fire. And that's, I think, when both groups do our part, we should find ourselves in a really wonderful position as a municipality. So that's a reminder, I guess, to all of us, that we continue to work together to keep each other in the loop where we can, and to recognize that sometimes residents, when we don't keep you in the loop, there may be a reason, and that reason may be that we're not ready for you to be in the loop yet, because legally we're not in a position where we can speak to certain issues. So I know sometimes you want answers, and sometimes you want answers to questions that we don't have answers to at the time, but we'll ask you to be patient and trust that when we do have answers, and when we are able to speak to issues, we certainly will, in the name of transparency and in the name of being fair to the people who have put us here.
And I'd like to just say to the community, 2 reminders. Now that winter's over, there are a lot more children playing out in the streets and on the roads, and everybody, needs to slow down.
Absolutely.
They're everywhere. And
Yep.
they're popping out of everywhere, and just slow down, like keep in mind and slow down. And also, littering is a huge issue for every community. So, keep in mind that everybody pick up your garbage. It's not, pick up after yourselves and help us. We are a community. This is our community.
Yep.
So throw the garbage in the garbage.
That's right. And every one of us has a responsibility. I know people, might look to the town and say, well, boy, oh boy, they need to clean up and so on. And yes, we all need to clean up, and that's the reality. And we know that with winter, there's a movement of snow with plows and so on, and wind and all those things, and garbage may land in one place and find itself 2 miles down the road by the time the snow melts. But when the snow melts, you can rest assured that there's litter everywhere, and each of us could play a very small part in picking up something when you see it there. And if you've got the opportunity to do that, do it. If you're young people and you don't like the fact that sometimes you get lumped into a group of idle delinquent type young people who are hanging out, then prove us wrong and pick up some garbage and call the town and get a garbage bag and get some pickup equipment and make some money for yourself. But we can all do our part, and that's really important, and a reminder that cleanup week continues, and the trucks and heavy equipment is on the move, picking up your garbage as you put it up and out there. And so we'll encourage people to continue to do that.
I'm also hoping that we're going to have an update on the new playground that we're installing this summer. So hopefully when the guys are ready and everything is in place, we'll let you know, and should start fairly soon.
Yep. Absolutely.
Before we go, I would like to take the opportunity to wish all the mothers out there a very nice Mother's Day on Sunday.
Right.
Can't do that.
Yes. a happy
Celebrate with your
Mother's Day.
family. Yeah, celebrate with your family and friends.
Absolutely.
Same to you, Laura.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to mothers everywhere. And with that, I don't think there's any notice of motions, right? So I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
So moved by Councillor Aylward. I thought it was Jennifer first, but she was just fixing her hair. Seconder, do we need a seconder on adjournment?
Yeah.
Second by Councillor Boland, and therefore, what time is it? I'll get to bang the hammer now. Hold on. 2 hands? No, 8:01. Meeting adjourned.
All in favor? Yeah.
All in favor? Yep. No problem. Thanks for showing up and even